Queen Elizabeth National Park is understandably Uganda's most popular tourist destination. The park's diverse ecosystems, which include sprawling savanna, shady, humid forests, sparkling lakes, and fertile wetlands, make it the ideal habitat for classic big game, 10 primate species, including chimpanzees and over 600 species of birds.
Queen Elizabeth National Park is the second largest national park in Uganda after Murchison Falls National Park. And the size of this park is 1,978 square kilometers. A national park of the 95 mammal species, 612 to 640 species of birds, 35 reptile species, as well as 9 primate species. We are a national park of the big 4 animals, who are the African elephants, the lions, the leopards, and the buffaloes, with the exception of the rhinos that were once here. But they were poached and killed to extinction because of their rhino horn market demands in international markets. But at the moment, Uganda Wildlife Authority, in partnership with the Rhino Fund Project, are working hard together to make sure that rhinos are restocked back in the wild. And the project started nearly 2,000 with 5 of them. But so far so good. We have over 30 rhinos in the sanctuary. They are underbreeding to make sure that in the future we find ourselves with the big 5. What does the big 5 mean? We don't look at how big, how tough, or how rough they are, but we consider how ecologically the ecosystem is modified by the functions. Categorically, for example, lions and leopards are cats, and their role is to check the population of the carrying capacity of the land, and as far as grazers are concerned, meaning the weak animals, the sick animals, and the unproductive animals are meant to be controlled, and that is why lions and leopards do that. And asking yourself that if an ecosystem wouldn't be having cats, how would it look like? It would be overpopulated, and at the end you would realize that population of animals without control factors would now bring conflicts to the communities as far as crop raiding is concerned. And with elephants among the big 5, they play a vital role, and refer them to be keystone or charismatic species. Their role is to suppress the vegetation, put down trees. For example, today it is shining. When you find there is canopy and elephants have not put down trees, then the rays will not reach the ground. And you find where elephants have browsed, put down trees, they expose the rays of the sun to hit the ground, and that is why we see savanna emerging. In other words, there is germination as photosynthesis takes place within the soils. And currently we don't have rhinos. And remember, rhinos are supposed to be working with buffaloes. Together they are referred to be rough grazers. They trample and trim on the tall grass as they are grazing, and they shorten the grass and leave it for the soft grazers. In this case, soft grazers are hippos, antelopes like cobs, and warthogs. You must have ever looked at warthogs kneeling down while they are grazing. It's not because they have table manners. It's because they are interested in the short grass, which short grass automatically is normally availed by the presence of the rough grazers, who are the who are the buffaloes, as well as rhinos. So Ziwa Rhino Sanctuary is our hope for restoration. And we believe in the near future to come these rhinos will be translocated back to the wild where they used to be, and they help buffaloes, and we find ourselves with a big set of the big five. So we don't consider how big, how tough, or how rough the big five is, but we consider how ecologically the ecosystem is modified by their functions. Something very important to share with you is that Queen Elizabeth National Park is also known to be a biosphere reserve. And the title biosphere was given by Queen Elizabeth National Park in 1979 by UNESCO. And how do biospheres reserve look like? So in our national park, we have 11 fishing villages. And these fishing villages were inside the park even before the park was gazetted as a national park. And currently, we have what we call coexistence. You find people freely interacting with these animals in harmony without harming each other, simply because knowledge has been passed on from one generation to the other. But at the same time, Uganda Wildlife Authority in the Community Conservation Department is working tooth and nail to make sure that still capacity is given to these communities, and we find people getting to know how to treat and behave and relate with the animals without attacking each other. And something very vital to know about Queen is that being a medley of wonders, we have what makes it unique. Much as we have many attractions, but we have the tree climbing lions that puts it at the epic of other national parks. We have them in the south of a place called Ishasha, but still in the world you can find in few places, for example around Lake Manyara in Tanzania. But still, as you're in the north where we are right now and where we're heading to, we may be lucky and we find the similar lions in the trees. And there are some reasons why these lions at times are sighted in trees. Queen Elizabeth National Park has got 5 types of vegetation. So we have the savanna, we have the thickets and shrubs, we have the woodland, we have the tropical rainforests, as well as the swamp type of vegetation. But over the years, savanna has been shrinking. And it is one of the reasons why at times lions here don't have the easy view over the prey, because of the concentration of different species of shrubs that they are forced to climb to look for what we call a vantage point. Call it a ladder or a platform. That's when they sight at the prey when they are above the shrubs that are emerging, and we're referring them to be invasive species. And at the end they succeed because they can view well, later in the evening move down and go and execute their missions. So as I talked about the tree climbing lions, this is how luck at times becomes the norms of the tourists that comes to visit Queen Elizabeth National Park. Because at times they can climb, at times they may not climb. But famously, these are the tree climbing lions sighted in a tree called a cactus tree. And cactus trees are of different species, but this is known to be ficus. This is known to be Euphorbia acandelabrum. But in the south, they normally prefer to climb the trees known to be fig trees, and they are called Ficus megarocarpa and Ficus sycomorus. So if you look at these lions in this cactus tree, they exhibit the beauty behind why Queen Elizabeth National Park is known as a medley of wonders. Look at how comfortable they are, relaxed. Look at their chest on the branches, and look at how they visibly see well among the shrubs below the cactus trees. So we have reasons why these lions are climbing in Queen. As I lastly talked about our vegetation patterns changing from savanna to bushland, where they don't see well the animals, then they have adapted to climb these trees such that they are able to move later in the day and strike at the prey. And at the same time, when they are climbing high, they are shying away from the tsetse flies that normally bite them and these black stinging insects. But again, if you look at this tree, it has got a big stem, but similarly that looks like the fig branches somehow alter and looks horizontal, which gives them a comfort. But again, when lions step on the ground, they absorb in a lot of heat, and that heat causes them to overpant. But when they are in the tree, look at them. They are just having a normal heartbeat, because as the saying states that the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. This cactus tree has served that purpose. But in the entire world, lions are among the cat family species. They can climb everywhere. But depending where they are, because of weather pattern factors and ecological factors in other parts of the world, lions don't climb. How I wish everyone in Uganda domestically and everyone who is looking at what is happening right now in Queen Elizabeth National Park would put it in his or her mind to come and look at this beauty, rather not to only look at this from other videos, but this is a live show here in Queen Elizabeth when you come to visit us. Queen Elizabeth remains the medley of wonders, and it is welcoming you to come and look at these wonderful cats. Before us are a number of cars doing one of the activities called experiential tourism. And experiential tourism is one of the activities that we offer in Queen Elizabeth National Park, where a lion researcher goes and looks at such a beauty. Just look at a pride of 8 lions in an cactus trees. Is it not amazing? So this is a family and a pride that has grown up together, and you can look at how one is looking for a comfortable branch to make sure that it relaxes. If it feels it is not comfortable, then it is likely to leave the tree and look for another tree. But let's keep watching. This is the beauty of Queen Elizabeth National Park. What makes it so unique are the tree climbing lions. Don't be late for any time of the year to come and look at these tree climbing lions. We welcome you in advance, and they are waiting for you as you visit the medley of wonders.
Hello, I'm Okong Joshua Frederick. I'm from Shaka Tours and Travel Uganda. We've been doing an experiential game drive in Queen Elizabeth National Park, and we've been able to cover the lions and leopard. And the experience has been very awesome because it's something very interesting seeing these animals in the wild. It's not the same as when you see them in the zoo, because here in the wild you're seeing them in their natural habitat. So the experience was very good. The people we're with were very happy. So I would encourage all Ugandans to come and visit these animals, because many Ugandans, when they tell them to go to the national park, they say it's the same thing seeing it in the zoo. But this is typically a different experience when you meet it in the wild. It's not the same as when you see it in the zoo in the cage. So I encourage all Ugandans to come and travel around Uganda. Queen Elizabeth National Park would give them a very good experience. So they should come and see this, enjoy themselves, because why else would they find this in the wild? Even if you go to Dubai, you cannot find a lion in the world. So Uganda is a place to travel. Ugandans come travel, it's affordable. We wish to see a big number of Ugandans coming to the parks to experience this for themselves. Thank you very much.
So in Queen Elizabeth National Park, we have got another activity called birding. But in total, Queen Elizabeth National Park hosts more than half of the number of birds in the country. And in total, there are 612 to 640 species of birds, including the birds that migrate from Europe. So in front of us, on top of the cactus tree, is the African fish eagle, which is one of the species that are residents in Queen Elizabeth National Park because of the diversity of two lakes, Lake George and Lake Edward, together with the Kazinga Channel. So the African fish eagles are birds that pair for life. They lay between 2 to 3 eggs, and the young ones pair at a tender age until when they die together. And in case it loses a partner, it is hard to marry again. We refer them to be lovebirds and faithful birds. This spectacular view is the view of Lake Edward. And Lake Edward is a transboundary lake. We share it with Democratic Republic of Congo. And the ranges you're looking at in the background are the ranges of Mount Rwenzori in Democratic Republic. And Edward, as I said, is that Congo takes the big share, but as Uganda, we only have 25 kilometers of the lake, and the 40 kilometers of the lake belongs to Congo. And the ranges that are in the horizon are, as I said, are in Virunga National Park. As you go far towards the ranges, this is the Mwea Peninsula, where you look at those buildings. And if you make a circular move towards the right, then you come to see the Kazinga Channel. So the Kazinga Channel is a natural channel as a result of faulting. And it is connecting two lakes, Lake George in the northeastern side of the park to Lake Edward, which is slightly on our right, which is in the western side of the park. So the channel is 8 to 12 meters deep, and the length is 40 kilometers. And Lake Edward is quite deeper because it is within the Rift Valley. And we find, in terms of altitude, the lowest being 112 meters.